So we're going to start a NumPy today, NumPy lecture. So let me open this ready. So what do you know about NumPy? Like, have you done work? So what kind of like operation you tried in a package?
It's like use NumPy for mathematical calculations, like,
Mm-hmm.
like square root math,
Yeah. Okay.
and all that.
Yeah. Correct. So NumPy is a package which is used for doing scientific computing in a Python. User absolutely correct for mathematical operation like finding out square, power, square root. We use this library, but this is the library that is used mainly to use multi-dimension array or 1D a single dimension array. So it's used to work with the group of a data object. So Python NumPy package is used to do scientific computing. And when you work in the industries or any project, you might need this when you are going to work on any machine learning project or data analysis project or any statistical project. Usually in the healthcare domain, finance domain, you might need a NumPy library, and it is mainly used for doing accessing a multi-dimension array. Are you aware about this array?
Oh yes, two-dimensional arrays.
Yeah. So it is used to manipulate multi-dimension or single dimension array. So we're going to see what are the operation that we can do it in the NumPy array. And do let me know if you are already aware, then I will go for some complex functions.
Yeah, sure.
So first of all, in a Jupyter notebook, sometime the NumPy libraries are, you won't be find it. So you might get error. So in order to resolve that, in order to resolve those errors, you just have to type this pip install numpy. Sometime it might be happens that you will get an error while accessing the numpy library. So you just run this pip install numpy so that it will going to install it. Now, as you can see on my screen, it is showing that requirement already satisfied. Why it is giving? Because I already installed numpy, and the respective folder is available here.
Okay.
Now, once you install the numpy, you have to add this numpy library to your code. So how you're going to do that? Import numpy as np. So here I'm importing the NumPy, means I'm adding this NumPy library to my code, and this NP is an alias name, a short name. You can use it if you want. You can use anything, not only NP. If you want import NumPy and that also fine. But in just to use a short term, we use this. Okay, so here I'm using n suppose. Okay, now suppose let me run this and adding it to my file. So I run this and it taking some time. So now you can see it's run successfully. It means that NumPy is added successfully to your code. Okay, now if you want to create an array in the numpy. How we're going to create it? So you will
NP
going,
dot arrays.
yeah. So you just take an any variable and just write n dot array, because here we took n as a alias name. And how we're going to pass it here in the square bracket, any element like 1 2 3 4 5 uh 5 6 7, like that. And as you run it, so it will going to give you an array, right? So it is a single dimension array, right? You have only
Yes.
one row. What if like if you want to access an element, how you can access an element in an array? Array is a group of homogeneous data, right? So it is different from what we have studied in a Python data structure, right? There we were able to save a different data. So here it's a group of a homogeneous data element. So here um, all are similar type, right? Now if you want to access an element, you just have to type the index and run it. So internally, how this element is saved? So the internally the elements are saved like this. Suppose this is the element. Okay, these are the element, but array, when they saved in array a variable a, they how we can access those elements based on the index like this: 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. These are the index based through which you can access the element. So you might be aware about it, that what is an index, right? So
Yes.
this is the index, and this is an element. Index always start from 0. So this is an index, and this is the element. So it's very useful to save a group of a data, and that's the reason array was introduced, because earlier days there was nothing to save a group of a data. We are just saving a one data in a one variable. But as the array introduced, we are able to save a multiple data to the variable a, which is of an array type. Let me what if you want to create a multi-dimension array? How you're going to create it? For that, this syntax is similar. Just have to type n dot array, and in this parenthesis you will going to pass like this: 1 2 3. Suppose 3 cross 3 you want. How you are going to create it? 3 cross 3.
Just add another square
Hmm.
bracket, like
Yes.
after, like add a comma and then another square bracket.
Yes. So I've added another square bracket, comma, then in square bracket another 7, 8, and 9, and I will close this square bracket, and then I will going to run this. So you can see as I run it, it runs successfully. Now I will going to run this. So you can see this is the multi-dimension array, which is of 3 cross 3. We have printed it. So this is about multi-dimension array, like how you can access an element. And in here as well, if you want to access any element, here the indexing will be different, right? You might be aware
Yes.
about the indexing as well for this multi-dimension array. So here we're going to consider the rows and column, right? Now here, suppose the elements are present in this way. One, two, three, then 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, right? So suppose if you want to access an element, okay, like a 5, how you, what will be the index of that?
or two, like in brackets, square bracket 2 and another square bracket 2. Like you have to give row and column.
But no, that's not. It will come. Okay, let me explain you. Then I will see. For every time, always remember the index start with 0, right? So index
Yes.
here.
Oh, it's a 3. Yeah, it's a 1 1.
Yes.
Because 0 1 2. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So index start from 0. Then for this it is 1. Then for this it will be 2. This is for the row. Okay.
Yes.
Similarly, for the column as well, it will be 0, it will be 1, and it will be 2. Now, based on this, can you just tell now? So it will be column, right?
Yes.
So if you want to access an element, 5 suppose, so you will going to see what is my row index, that is 1, and what is my column index, 1. So for this, the index, if you want to access this, the index will be what? 1 and 1, right? So like this it will be there. So if you want, you can just try it here. Just write a b 1, similarly 1, and run it. So you can see you can get an element, right? So this is the way of accessing the element, like how you can create a multi-dimension array and you can access the element as well. Okay, so this is about the internally, like how this array having an index, rows and column. This is very important to know, and many times we do mistake here, but always remember, if you just create an imagination like the row and column, you will always give a correct answer that what will be my row ID and column ID. So this is a way of accessing an element. Let's do some more operation here. What if you want to create, suppose if you want to create array with all the 0 element, how you're going to create it? N dot zeros.
Zeros
Yeah,
and the size of the array.
yeah. So size of an array, suppose I'm passing 4 and I'm running it. So you can see it is giving it the f4 will be the size of number of time I want 0. Okay. Similarly, if I want 1, then how we're going to create it? Once, right? So it is printing all the element of an array as a 1. If you want to create, so one more function is there, this n dot empty. Do you know what it will going to do?
Just add null values to the array.
The function empty will going to add an initial random value depend upon the memory. So this empty we can use over 0 to just speed up, and it will going to print based on the random value. Like you can see here it is printing 0. Let me try again. So here I'm empty 2 I'm running. So you can see it is printing 1.1. So like it's printing a random value every time based on the state of the memory and the content. So always remember this one more function empty that will going to print an empty value. Okay, so now let's see one more function. So suppose if you want to create an element in the range, how you're going to create it? Suppose I say that you create an array less than 10. How are you going to create?
Just np.array and just add a range in the.
No, no. Yeah, a little bit same. Means np dot a range function you're going to use, and here you're going to pass 10, and you run it. So you can see all the elements are less. So here, so you can see here, when you are going to run it for 10, you are getting 0, 1, 2, 3, 7, 4, 8, 9, right? All the
Mhm.
element are less than 9. So this function is doing what? This one more variety of this a variation in the range function, where my starting value will be 10, and value will be 10, starting value will be 2, and value will be 10, and I want a gap of 2. Okay, so like first will be 2, then 4, then 6, then 8. Why we are not adding a 10? Because as you know, in the data structure as well, I told you that we're going to take always the n minus 1, or not the last one. So here as well, we're not going to consider the 10, we're going to consider one before to 10, so we're going to consider here 8. So do you understand this, like how this range function is working?
Yes.
Similarly, there is one more function, that line space function, which is going to give you linearly in a space. Linear value means they will going to give you uh, a value that are in the linearly arranged linearly space. So for that, you just have to type line space. Why I'm telling you this all? Because many times they ask question, tell me the difference between a range function and the line space, so you should be aware, right? If I ask you a question, tell me the difference between like empty function and the 0 1, what you're going to say? That empty function is usually going to add a null value, but like it will going to add a value randomly based on the memory. So that's why sometimes it is giving 0 1. And now with the line space, how we're going to do that? Similarly, let's try with same 2. We the last one is 10, and how many value you want? Suppose I want a 5. So you can see it is giving you like a linearly spaced element, right? You can see starting is 10, ending will be 10, and I want total 5 number in
I
between this.
Okay.
So
So it evenly spaces
yes,
the numbers
yes,
out.
yeah, correct, good.
Yeah.
So it is evenly space the number. So it is evenly space the number, as well as you can say it is spaced linearly. So the different term you can use it. Now similarly, if you want to sort an array, okay, we have seen array A. Okay, it's an already sorted, so let me create an array. C is equal to n dot array. So here I'm taking values. So suppose these are the element. Okay. I want it to be arranged. Okay. These are the element. Now, if you want to sort it, which function you're going to use?
Is that an MP sort function?
Yes. So it will be n dot sort, and you will going to pass the parameter that is the name of a variable c here and run it. So you can see it is sorted now. So these are some function that is useful while sorting an element. Okay. So in this way you can sort an element as well. Now suppose if you want to add another array to this, how you're going to do that? For example, this is an array. Okay. Now if you want to add the content of c to the b to the a, how you're going to do that? For that you just have to type one function concatenate, and to this you just pass the name of an array. So we have created one earlier a array. So I'm running this. Now you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is coming till 7, which is an array A. And after that, it is coming this one, C array. So C is an unsorted form, right? So it is coming like this. If you remember, we created an array A here with the element 1 to 7. And after that, we created, right? So in this way, it works. Similarly, if you want to concatenate in a double, in a 2D array, there also you can do it. For that, you just like B we have seen, right? B was 3 cross 3, right? Let me create a D array here. This is my D array. Now, if you want to concatenate, just call this. So n dot concatenate and just pass this both the array b and d. If you want to concatenate d content to the b, so you have to type the name after b. Okay, are you getting? Like if you want to add this after b content, so you have to pass the d after that. So you just run this. Okay, sorry, I forgot to give a parenthesis, so you have to give one more parenthesis here. So now you can see here 1 to 9 and this 2 is added, right? So this concatenate function is very useful to find it out, the to do the to just add an element, okay, to concatenate the element.
Yes.
Now suppose if you want to check the dimension, how are you going to check the dimension for this b and d? Or let me save it into the variable e and print it here. So before, let me run this. Now, if you want to check what is the dimension of E, how you're going to check?
Shape.
Um, E dimension, shape.
Okay.
So n dimension. So you can, if you want to check what is the n dimension, so E dot n dimension. So you can see for E it is a 2 dimension because rows and column, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. How many dimensions are that got?
Yeah, means rows and columns. So 2 dimension. Shape will going to give you rows and column, cross rows and column. Now, if you want to find it out what total number of element you have, so for that you just have to type e dot size and run it. So it will going to give you 15, right? 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Total 15 elements are there, right? So size function will going to give you the number of element, and dimension function will going to give you dimension. Now the shape function that you are talking about will going to give you this one, as I was saying you, the number of rows and column. So here, how many number of rows you have? 5. And how many number of column you have? 3. So it will going to give you the rows and column. So always remember, don't get confused with shape and dimension. Shape function will give you row and column, and dimension will give you just the dimension, whether it is 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension. So don't be get confused with this. And size will going to give you the number of element. Because in the interview they usually ask this, tell me the difference between hand dimension and shape, or what this size function they will going to do. They will say you to just they might ask you, like, suppose this is an array. If I run this function and dimension, size and shape, what the output you will going to get. So you have to tell them correctly if you are aware about it, right? Similarly, there is one more function that most of the time they ask. Let me create an array, and dot array. Okay, so this is my array. Okay, sorry. Oh, I have forgot to add a parenthesis. Yeah. So this is my array. Okay, let me run this, and you can see that it's a 1 dimension, right? Now if you want to change the shape of this, how you're going to change the shape of this? Suppose I want to convert into 2 dimension, how you're going to change it? Do you know?
Uh, Rearrange,
No.
reshape.
Yeah, correct.
Reshape.
Reshape.
Yeah.
So if you want to change it, you just have to write reshape. So how are you going to write? S dot reshape. And to that reshape, suppose how many you want, like 6 element are there. So you can take either 3 row, 2 column. Okay, and let's run this. Okay, similarly you can do it like this. F is equal to S dot reshape, but I want 2 row and 3 columns, so you can pass it this way, and you can print F as well. So this is a way of changing the dimension from single dimension to multiple dimension. So this is about the shape function and all. Now suppose if you want to access an element in the specified index, So just like in a list we do it here as well, right? For example, let me okay, let's see the R. If you want to access an element in the R, okay, from index okay, let me take it in S. If you want to access an element in S from 0 to 1, 0 to suppose 3, how you are going to access it? You just have to type this and run it. So you will going to access an element which are at the index 0, 1 and 2. As the 3 will not going to take, they will going to take n minus 1. So it will going to consider 0 to 2, right? So this is the way of accessing an element. Similarly, you might have seen various variation. Okay. Similarly, if you want to check it for this, so when I run this -3, it means it will going to from the end in the reverse direction, but it will going to start all 257. Do you know what how this 257 is coming?
Uh,
It means that all the rows in the reverse direction, but it should print only 3 elements. Whenever you see this, it means all the rows, okay, all the element from left to right. But as you're taking -3, it means that it will going to print in the reverse direction, but it will going to print from left to right, 257.
okay.
Okay, because we have taken this colon first, so it will mean that we're going to start from left, but as -3, so last 3 element will going to print from this side, that is from right side, the last 3 element. So which is the last 3 element? 257. But as we have added colon, this side is an empty, it means that it will going to print in this direction, but accessing will be from this direction, from right. Similarly, if we write this like this,
So if you do colon -2, it will only print up to 5, right?
hmm,
So it goes 9.
so you can see when I start from -3, okay, you this is the element. Okay, let me explain. Yeah, you were asking something.
Like if I the before that, where you have
Mhm.
-3 after the
Hmm.
colon, if you do
Hmm.
-2, will it only print 2 and 5?
No. Okay. So you want to print -2 colon -3. Is it like
No, no,
that?
no, 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 no. Just colon -2.
Okay. Colon. Yeah, so it will going to print only that. Yes.
Only
Let
2
me
and
run.
5, right?
No, no. You said okay.
No, correct,
Mine.
correct. Yeah, 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's okay. It's skipping from the back, not from the front. Okay, yeah,
Yes,
got
yes.
it, got
It's
it.
taking from the back side. Like you can
Okay.
see here, when I'm passing -3, what it is doing, it in the reverse direction, it will going to print the last first three, 257,
Mhm.
right? And when you
Yes.
pass this -2, so it will going to obviously move from this side, and it will going to print all the element except the last two. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes,
The,
yes.
here, except the last three. Try to
Mhm.
understand.
Except the last 3, it will print because you
Yes,
didn't have anything before colon, so it'll print everything.
yes. Except last three element, and here it will going to print except last two element. Normally, if you have done work in machine learning, any project, what we do it in machine learning, suppose you have a n number of column, okay, you want to consider 5 column, leaving the last one. So we usually pass s colon -1. It means that we don't want to consider the last column. Okay, suppose let me give you an example here. In machine learning, machine learning, are you aware about it? So anything?
Yes. Yes.
So in machine learning, we train the data, right? Suppose I wanted to check whether the uh, item will be going to purchase by the customer or not based on some features. What are the features? Like age, gender, okay, and income. I wanted to check whether the person will going to purchase or not. Okay. So here my age, gender, income, purchase. These are the four column. Age, gender, and income is my attribute that will identify every customer, and purchase I wanted to predict. Okay. Based on the age, gender, and income, I wanted to predict whether customer will purchase or not. So suppose purchase has a value yes and no. So when I will going to train the machine learning algorithm, or suppose when I will going to train any robots or anything, though I have to tell the machine that these are my input column and this is my output. So when I will going to train this machine, I usually write what I will going to write. I will going to write like this: S colon minus one. What does it mean? Take all the column, all the rows except the last column. So it will going to consider age, gender, and income, but it will not consider purchase while training. Okay, means my input feature will be age, gender, and income. Okay, I will going to write like this: x is equal to s minus 1. It means that all the column will be my input variable x, and my output variable I usually write like this: output variable will be my which index number 3, right? The index number 3 will be my output. Okay, are you getting what I'm trying to explain you?
Yes. Yes.
So this column, it will be my input, and this will be only column purchase, that is my output that I wanted to predict. So here also it works. When you pass like this colon minus 3, it will going to print all the last three element. Okay, it will going to print except the last three element, and when you pass minus 2, it will going to print except the last two element, and when you're going to print s colon minus 1, it will going to print all the element except the last one. So like this it works. But if you do in the reverse direction, how it will going to work?
Mm. That'll
Minus
just
3.
reverse. That'll just
Yes.
reverse it. Yes. Okay.
So this is a way of accessing an element. Always candidate, they get confused with this. So always remember, if they ask you such questions, if the minus 3 is in your right hand side, always remember the trick. If this minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 on your right hand side, always remember this statement: except last 3, except last 2, except last 1. I will going to share this code as well with you: except the last 1, except the last 2 here. So you will remember this whenever you see on the right hand side minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, it means that except the last one element, all the thing you have to print. Similarly,
Yes.
suppose you wanted to create suppose you wanted to print an element. Okay, let's do some other operation. If you wanted to print an element which are greater than 5, how you're going to, means you wanted to create an array which are greater than
Mm.
5, how you can create it? 5 up is one variable I created,
Okay.
and I took a greater than 5. So a is one a is one variable, or you can say like let's take here s. Okay, so in the array s, whichever the element greater than 5, it will going to print. So now I will going to run it. So when I will going to run it here, you can check it, like see here: false, true, 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 false, false. So when you compare this with S variable, S array, 2 is greater than 5, false. 5 is greater than true, greater than equal to 5, true. 7 is true because 7 is greater than 5. 9 is greater than 5, true. 3 and 4 are less, so it is showing false. So when you want to compare the element of any array based on some logic from relation operator, then you can do like this. And if you want to print an element, then you just write this one, print 5 up. Okay, you just write print 5 up and run it. So it will go into, okay, one, yeah, sorry, you just write like this in a square bracket. Because 5 up will be indexed, so you write in this way, so it will going to print an element to you.
Okay.
Okay, 1 minute. I think I did somewhere. Okay, sorry, here S will come.
Oh,
Now you see that.
okay. Got it. Got it. Yes.
So when you write 5 up, so with respect to false index, what the element is, so it will show like this. So whichever the greater than 5, it will going to show you. It will not going to show all. It will going to show you whichever is greater than 5. Similarly, if you want to do divisible by 2, how are you going to do that? So let me create. You can give a variable name anything. You can take any variable name. So I'm taking divisible by 2. Here S square S mod 2 0. Okay, it means that it will going to print those elements which are divisible by 2. So see 2 and 4, how it is working. S, okay, S is the array name. Then in this index, whichever like it will going to check it, whichever have mod 2 is giving you 0, it will going to consider that, assign it to this variable divisible by 2 and print it. Okay, S, and in the square bracket S mod 2, so you're going to check it for every element. 2 mod 2 is equal to 0, correct. 5 mod 2, no. 7, no. 9, no. 3, no. There is a 4 as well, I think the element 4 in the array S, yeah, in the array S 4 is there, yeah, this one. So it will going to check 4 mod 2 is equal to 0, so it will going to print as well. S is equal to S mod 2 equal to 0, so it will going to print it. Is it clear to you, or shall I explain once again?
No, no, I got it. You just like the 5 up before, like
Yeah,
that gives you a Boolean array,
yes,
right? But like if you just add it in a square on the same, it'll like element wise, it'll do the same
yeah.
function
So
without having to use another.
yes, so it will going to give you true and false for those. Wherever the trues are there, it will going to assign to this divisible by 2 and it will going to print it. Like in this square bracket, S mod 2 for first value 2, S value is 2 first. So 2 mod 2 is equal to 0. So for the first value, it will be true. So it will going to print that. Do you understand that? Like this. Here, the 5 up variable will giving a value this one. Okay. So 5 up, wherever true is coming here, in this 5 up, wherever true will come, it will going to print that. Similarly here as well, in this as mod 2, wherever true will come, it will going to print those elements. Just see this two, you will understand. 5 of wherever true will come, okay, so it will going to print it. Similarly
Yes.
here it will going to, here it will going to assign to this divisible by 2 and then it will going to print it.
Yes. So what s percent to equal to 0, that gives you uh, a true and false like array, and
Yeah,
then like it automatically like sorts it through s because it's in a square bracket
yes,
outside.
correct. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Okay, So we're going to do some more operation in the next class. You can go through this today, this numpys, and you can prefer the documents numpy org. Um, go through all these formulas, not formulas, functions, because we usually get confused because there are multiple functions are there. So always remember between there are few functions that are most important, that concatenate and shape, size, reshape, arrange function. These are mostly asked question in the interview. Reshape function. So always remember and don't get confused with this as well, that I explain you. Except last three, except one, except three. Whenever you see colon at the left hand side, -1, always remember it is talking about except last three, except last two, and except the last one. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Any question, anything you want to ask?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Nothing yet.
So what this week I will going to cover this NumPy and Matplotlib library by this month. Then from next month, I will going to start a database. Are you aware about database?
Uh, I've done like basic database coding. Like
In
that's
which
it.
database you have worked?
Think open. Wait. MySQL. I
Okay,
think.
MySQL.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to do MySQL here. Okay then, so we'll connect in the next session. I will going to share this code and will share the video as well. Go through it wherever you feel anything is not clear. You want to work more on that area. Do let me know. I will make you more practice on such functions. So I think you might need more practice on this kind of functions as well as on this slicing. Or are you confident enough to work on this?
Yeah. I'm fine.
Okay. So tomorrow we're going to see some more complex operation in NumPy. Okay.
Okay.
Okay then. Bye. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.